Hello, welcome back to the Well House Exorcism. This is your ghost of a host of the most, Shanna.
And it's PJ.
No, it's not.
It's Puckwell PJ.
There it is. All right. And we are tonight excited because we are with
Sabrina. Para-Sabrina.
There it is. You're almost getting it right. So nice to talk to you. So tell us a little about yourself. Who are you and what are you doing in my Zoom?
Well, my name is Sabrina Beackley. I'm from Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Woo woo.
I'm writing a book called Haunted Freedom. It should be out in October. It's about a haunting that occurred with my family on Freedom Road here in Lycoming County. And the occurrences and things that happen within the house and within us, the chaos and everything that kind of comes with it.
Yeah.
Oh, we understand that.
Yep. we totally get
Preach.
some of that there.
As we record in our basement of all the places. Oh, I cannot wait to have Alicia down here, actually. She's like, wait, the basement?
Yeah.
The basement.
Cool.
Yeah. So you know Alicia. She is my coworker. Alicia introduced us, and just last week, and here we are talking. So
we call her mom. She's PJ's work mom.
But she was talking to her husband, and he's like, "So wait, we're gonna go to a Halloween party with the ghost people." And
the ghost people.
The way to go. That's the way to go.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And she's like, "Yeah, are we gonna be in the same house that it happened?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, that's always fun though.
Bring them down here. They can see the well. It'll be hilarious.
Mm-hmm,
It'll be perfect. So you are a paranormal investigator, and you're also a medium, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm a psychic medium.
Psychic medium. Okay.
I'm well known. Actually, I have appeared on a few talk shows with Evermore Paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne Surratt produces those. I have worked with other people in the paranormal and real cases, severe cases, not,
Mm-hmm.
to go peekaboo for a ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for quite a few years too. So yeah,
So
that's pretty much what I do.
when did you first realize that you had this ability?
When I was little, I just didn't know until I was older that what it was, like the things I was getting,
Mm-hmm.
where it was coming from, for instance, or how I knew things or what have you. I'd be scattered. I guess that's the best way to put it. And through friends in the network, they helped me. I wouldn't say particularly one person was Chris Fleming. Had helped me with bringing things together and stuff, and being able to understand what was coming in,
Okay.
what have you.
So when
Yeah.
you say a psychic medium, because I know there's different levels of the paranormal and what people can do. My gram was a psychic. So I know that there are different areas and there's clairvoyance. So where would you label yourself, and what kind of help can you give to a person?
I would say see,
I like asking the hard questions.
I can speak to the dead.
Okay.
I can speak to to the dead.
Mm-hmm.
I can see auras around people too. So I can see, anything living, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Melissa Leeper, my friend, she likes to call me a trans medium, psychic medium. And basically what that means is I'm able to bring a spirit within me.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah. Now I do not do that alone. I
Yeah.
haven't done it in a few years. Actually, Melissa was the last person I had done that with. But I don't. I have never charged, anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I do go to events. I
Mhm.
don't normally charge, I believe God gave me these gifts. He can take them away just as quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always know. I'm honest with people,
Yeah.
So that's pretty much who I am. I don't know.
My
Um,
grandmother charged all the time. Just
oh
letting
yeah,
it out
people
there.
do, and I have no opinion against anybody that does that.
Yeah.
Some people live off of what they do.
Hmm.
However, I do have problems with the fakes. I'm not gonna,
Well, yeah.
fib on that one. I do have problems, but for the most part, I don't advertise myself out there that way as, psychic Para-Sabrina Beackley. A lot of people do know me as that
Mm-hmm.
locally, through the shows and through the network, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But generally, yeah, for a while. I haven't been doing it since the death of my husband. So
Yeah,
not too much. I mean, I have, but not too much.
Yeah.
I understand that. So you've mentioned over a couple of times the Evermore Paranormal Network. What is that?
That is the producer is Suzanne Sorrell. Um, it is a show of different shows. You can find it on Roku. If I'm saying it
A
right.
Roku.
Roku.
It's on
Okay.
Amazon, yeah. I found
Yeah.
you. You're on YouTube as well.
Right.
I'll have
Yeah,
to look
you can
that up.
find it on YouTube too, believe it or not. The different shows
Hmm.
that she does. And then they're more of talk shows of the paranormal. They are also like fun, like Halloween fun,
Hmm.
just different stuff that she does. But yeah, she's well known in the paranormal too. She broadcasts all of Virginia, Maryland, New York, well, 21 states, I believe it
Oh
is, and
wow.
Hmm.
then all of UK and South Africa gets the show. I appear every now and then on there, and I drag Melissa Lee.
You're coming
So
with me.
yes, pretty much. And she kicking and screaming she goes, but
Well, and I saw they're like on like season 9 or something like that now for the Evermore Paranormal Network. I saw like the seasons are
Oh,
pretty high
cool.
up there. So kudos to
yeah,
you guys. Like it's rocking.
thanks. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
she's done a wonderful job, with her network and her programs and stuff, worked hard.
so
So the
do you
kudos all.
write episodes for her or do you just come on to offer advice or?
Oh, I come on. Actually, my producer is more everything you see on there is real. She don't tell you what to talk about. She don't
Hmm.
Hmm.
prepare it for you. And if you blooper, she'll tell you, she'll remove it, but it doesn't get removed. So that's the little blooper on you. But yeah, me and Suzanne have became really good friends over the years. Um, uh, it's broadcasted out of Fairfax, Virginia,
Hmm.
Hmm.
down here. So, yeah.
Well, because you're from Williamsport, but you're currently living in West Virginia? Is that
No, no, no,
correct?
no. I'm living in
Oh, you're
Williamsport
back?
still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yay. All
Yeah, I'm
right.
still here. I'm still. No, I have family in Virginia, not
That's
West
okay.
Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, my
So,
research
but
was
no,
flawed
I'm
there.
here. I'm here.
We
I
could have
know
had you over in
Alicia
Yeah, we
through
should
person.
my
invite.
son.
I thought you were in different states. I was like, let's do a Zoom. She could have been in the basement with us.
Yes, I absolutely could have.
Just leave all the
But
paranormal
I
stuff at the
used to. I
door. We had our house
right.
exercise. Just keep that at the door. Like, don't bring it in. We
I
got a room.
actually
We
used
swept it
to
out.
run. Right. I used to actually produce a radio show here
Hmm.
in Williamsburg on iHeartRadio with Ted Saul.
Hmm.
Is
So
that the WRAK Community Paratalk?
yes,
I
yes,
I was
that's
gonna
when
ask
we
about
were
that
doing
next.
that.
Yeah.
That's older, yeah. That was with Ted Saul. Locally, people know him on the commercials and things like that.
Hmm.
There's voice, So yeah, he's a great friend of mine too.
Oh, well, I wish that was still going. I'd love to listen to you guys driving into work.
Oh yeah.
So, what are some famous like cases? Because you had mentioned that your story was on the Dead Files, and so we actually watched that episode. So
We
we
did.
did actually. It was the Dead Files quote, "The Devil's Bidding." So, what was
Yeah.
the connection that you had there?
Well, The Jody Hill case. It was the Jody Hill's case. She was on Memorial Ave. She lived on Memorial Ave, excuse me. Here in Williamsport. She was being attacked by something she couldn't see. At the time, I was running a group called Ghost Under Investigation, and we had another case up in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, that was
We
severe.
worked there, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe this thing that attached to her had actually came from the case up there, because unknowing to Jody, the reports at the time were the same reports that she was giving.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
With the sexual assaults and things like that. So strangely that had stopped. So anyway, we had believed, myself and my co-founder, Marie, had believed that that this thing had actually came from a previous case. We had to call in Bill Bean, Reverend Bill Bean, and a few others had came in on that case. Ultimately, the case that you see on TV, Jody had advanced and went to them. I had nothing to do with that, but yeah, I was there for the taping and that whole 9 yards of that. But yes, originally that was my case.
I was surprised that the Catholic Church wouldn't perform an exorcism. Like, that's what it said on the TV episode.
Yeah.
So that's what you saw was their version of it. Bill Bean did do an exorcism, not only on the house, but on Jody and myself.
Okay.
At that time. So that I talk about that in my book. I'm not so much that case, but at the end I go on to kind of like in the dedication say that not everything's in the book, but there was several, different exorcisms, deliverances that kind of happened.
Yeah, because as we were watching it, I was like, we got to call on a priest, because like we rewatch these things
every time we watch these, we're like, call someone.
I don't understand.
Make a call.
Stop it. Just make a phone call. Get a higher power.
I even called Lorraine Warren for advice at that time on this case, because I was just lost on what to do at that point.
Well, and the episode was like I was amazed at just what she had put up with. So for our listeners, if you've not watched that episode, basically there is a person named Jody, and they have a beautiful house from what it seems from the pictures and the videos you're watching in Williamsport. But because of where her house is located, we're going to do an episode actually on the Plum Creek Massacre now, because I was so interested that I figured it'd be a nice follow-up after this to post about that. But there was a massacre that happened like right there where her house is.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of activity. And the paranormal investigator that's there, she's a medium. She was kind of scared by what was in the house, because she could just feel that it was a very dark, evil spirit. Which for us, we're like, hey, we know what that is. We've had that in the basement.
And like the description matched up eerily similar.
Similar, but mine, we'll talk about that in a second for you. But so Jody would see this thing, and it was attacking her. It was like licking her and sexually assaulting her. There was also another ghost. It was a female Native American woman who was like just attached to her, like always at her side. And so there was just a lot of activity in the house. And so she didn't even want to like live there anymore.
Oh yeah. The activity even when we all entered into that home, the activity just reared up. Like it knew.
Yeah, knew that you were there.
One gentleman, Reverend Jeff Leeper, he had went up the stairs, and he actually, I think he was shoved. We had heard, I was downstairs, so at that point, I was sitting downstairs, and I believe somebody had, or not somebody, something, had shoved him. There was nobody up there with him.
Yeah.
There you go.
That happened to me in the basement.
Yeah,
Like I said, when I was
that
listening to it, it was crazy. I was like, this sounds so much.
I actually added the history of Williamsport into my book. So that massacre, because I'm actually talking about in the book that there is an Indian. I had called him an Indian boy when I was referring to him, which angered the young man. And at the time, I didn't know it, but it was appearing to my son. So I actually talking, with that. So,
oh wow.
and then, so a lot of it actually with the things we were seeing was wrapping in with some of the history of the land up there.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of like, to me, it's always fascinating to learn the history and like why things are happening, because it kind of gives you a clear picture of why it's happening.
Yeah.
So for our house, like, again, we decided to go the route of an exorcism because blessings, a mass, nothing was working. So thanks to Father Mowry. Yeah. Oh, it was we did everything. Our joke was we had our semi-annual blessing done on the house every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
It was, and we were told it was a Band-Aid. It wasn't going to work.
Yes. Every 6 months it would boom, come back with a vengeance. Yeah, absolutely. I meant it for a little bit, but then it was like poof.
Yep, it calms down and it comes back. And one of our because we're Catholic, one of our priests did a mass for all the dead souls in the house, and it actually got angry over that. That was pretty scary.
Like during the 45 minutes that the mass was, like it was just getting hotter and hotter.
You could see the mirages of the heat. Like we were all just sweating. It was awful.
Yeah, I actually talk in a book where Bill has his hand doing one of his exorcisms on me, and I just instantly sweat. Instantly drenched in the sweat. It was crazy.
Yeah, so we're very thankful that we ended up having an exorcism. But I was just like, when I was listening to it, like listening to what she was going through, I'm just like, why would the Catholic Church say no to exorcising her house? But I know this was years ago compared to us. Ours was more recent. Yeah. It was just the 2018, yeah. So it was very recent. And things, things have changed a lot in the Catholic Church because they're recognizing that there's just a lot more demons around than there were before. And exorcisms are at an all-time high. So I wonder if it would be a different story now versus back when she was going through what she was going through. But I was not happy to hear that they would not come and do that. I was like, seriously, really? Like,
right. Oh, yeah. I had actually went to several churches around here. I talk about my childhood one in the book, not so much the other ones that I had approached. But yeah, getting help was hard. They, I always got like, that don't happen, or, we don't do that, or this or that. But it's just, I had nowhere to turn. So,
well, I wonder if it's because of what had happened in like the 60s and 70s. Maybe it's just the fear of doing an exorcism. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. Well, the Catholic Church, they have their ways and their rites and things that they have to follow. So I'm not Catholic, so I am a follower of Yeshua, absolutely 100%. But yeah. So,
I think whatever makes you happy, like we're
I
believe it was our faith and our good humor that saved us.
And you know what? That's my rock too, and I believe that today. That is my rock, God. At the end of the day, where there's darkness, there's always light. Yeah. Yes.
Well, and actually, you can see. Oh, that's why there's my look. When I'm looking at the green screen versus here,
I know, right?
But I did the design for the Well House exorcism. I did all of our designs for our logos, but this one's very simple because the crucifix, I couldn't get a Saint Benedictine crucifix, obviously on the program that I was using. But the green in the background was the green of our walls in our dining room. And that is where the crucifix was. That is part of the major story. So the reason our design is what it is because of that story.
Yeah, our crucifix, it's a cross with that similar, like it flares out on the ends and everything. So very similar design of a cross, and that's why that kind of fits pretty well there.
But yeah, I chose that because that was like what made the first priest who came in. He's like, that's a new crucifix you got there. Why would you buy that one? And I said, well, it just makes me happy and I feel calm and I feel like I can pray around it. And he's just like, Okay, well, that's a St. Benedict crucifix, and those are used in exorcisms. So this blessing's not going to work. Moving on. Like, so
Oh,
from the very first blessing, we knew that something major was happening, you know?
Well,
But,
well, when he first showed up on the property, he
oh,
took his holy water. He loved his holy water.
oh, he did.
To the point where, like, instead of having like the little dauber thing that splashes it, he had a brush, and he had the brush and he flicked it on our door, and it didn't hit the door.
wow.
And
So much holy water, but you can't see a single drop on the house.
so he had to do it like 3 times, I think it was,
To see just a couple
to get the
drops.
drops to hit the door.
I've gone in on cases and seen people do the strangest things and think, am I in a movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Is this real?
Yeah,
Movies are based on real life, and I feel like our house was a movie.
the number of times that we heard a
Holy
noise
shit.
and then walked towards it, you know.
It's so true.
Well, the photo in my book is the actual driveway up to the house. My granddaughter, Jesselyn, had put it together, so I decided to use it. It's with the driveway, and then my face. I don't know, it kind of looks ghostly, but it's my
Ooh.
face and kind of, yeah, it's really cool looking actually. I'm like, well, I like it. So, we kind of like put 2 different versions out, and so yeah.
Well, have you bought Kevin Paul's book? Because
I mentioned it to her, but
yes, you have to buy his books. He has 2, but the cover art
cover
is
is great.
just. I love it. It's like these woods, because it's Haunted Hills and Hollows, so you see this kind of like woodsy background, but there's like aliens, and there's a werewolf, and there's a ghost over here. It is just.
We love it.
It
It's
is
so
the
great.
best. I love it. You have to have good cover art so people will buy your book. As an English teacher, I gotta tell you, you do judge a book by its cover. Like, that's just true.
Oh, absolutely. They do. People do.
So
I
we
agree.
don't want to give away your entire story in your book, but we do want to talk about the book because we want to get a little shimmy out there for people so they'll buy the thing. So what is it about, and how much can you give us without giving it all away?
Okay. Like I said, we lived in Williamsport here on Freedom Road. The road's history is connected to Daniel Hughes, who lived out here, out there. Obviously, he was with the Underground Railroad, and him and his family were helping people get to Canada. So there's like a whole story in there. I kind of include that into the book too. So that'll be the more of the histories towards the end of the book.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of start off with the story. I talk about the landowner and his wife, and building the home and the different things that occurred at the beginning, which kind of made me think I was crazy.
Yeah, that's how it always
Um,
starts. Yeah,
Yeah, it was just little things, smells and things like that. And it was like, just like, huh? What? No. But as time went on, things had occurred. My husband was a hunter, and he didn't hunt the land.
Mhm.
Him and his father had went to Morris, Pennsylvania, to do their hunting. But he actually had gotten a 10-point buck. Here's a little taste. This buck had went on our wall.
Of course.
Mhm.
Hey, it's 10-point buck. You gotta.
That's yeah.
If it was a nice rack, nice spread, you gotta show it off.
Right. And then me, being an animal lover, I didn't necessarily like this thing looking at me or dead things anyway. So we had actually ended up into an horrible argument over it, but he won.
What you do is you start hanging Christmas ornaments off of it, and then he's like, you know
I
what?
did it.
There you
Yes, I
go.
got pictures. I did. So it made me feel better. But with that said, this thing had came off the studs. The one night I was laying there, and it kind of like started shaking, and I kind of thought I was crazy.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm just like staring at it. I was laying on the couch, and my husband was in the chair. But in the end, the deer flew across the room, directly on him, and it did hurt. That deer head flew off that several times at different individuals.
Oh wow.
So it was a crazy thing. Now, any person that knows with hunting and those sort of things, the stud, it has to be like kind of like dropped down over top of it, you know, and it slides down. There's literally no way you can get it off.
No, it's there secure. Yeah.
Right. Well, every time it did, the stud was still there. Well, he got so flustered with it and eventually took it to his friend's house. Argue with it, you know, like take it. I had no remorse.
Like, no,
no, not the deer.
there was crazy behaviors, you know, on down and what have you. So that went with it, but that's a little bit of a taste of it. And there was some other things that we had seen that paid visits to us, so that was a little bit more scary. Yeah, there was a little bit more scary things that were appearing, and they were more connected with death.
Okay.
And I talk about that in my book. At the end, there was a lot of robotic control, I guess. That's the best way. Like, with me, I want to explain with me. I felt like something was coming in. It was like a dream state. Like I was there, maybe sleepwalking, but it was almost like something was in my car and driving it.
Oh, gotcha.
I find myself doing the strangest things, and I'm not going to reveal those things.
Yeah.
Keep it for the
or
book.
his strange things. You have to read the book to figure it out. But yeah. It was almost
I couldn't imagine just like not being in control of my own body. I would not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was realizing that of what was going on. Not only, you know, the chaos, it was crazy. It seemed like as time went on, the fighting increased, the arguing, the depression, the oppression. I was just like at my wit's end. And then, you know, I saw somebody out. At the point, I didn't really care. I just wanted to figure out somebody. And I had heard about an event. So I'm not going to reveal that event, but that's how I found Bill. So, yeah, that's pretty much how the book goes. And then, you know, it ends up with a tragedy. And I'm not going to reveal that either. So.
All right. Because there is a house, it's the House of Many Stairs. Of Many Stairs, right?
Also on Freedom Road.
I've heard of that. I've never been there.
Never been there?
Yeah, I only just heard about it a week or two ago. Because of Alicia.
She's always trying to give us, like, you know, she's like, here's something you're talking about. Like, here's something else. Go visit here. So she's always giving us ideas.
There's actually a lot of places here in Pennsylvania that are pretty lit up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this podcast was never meant to be a regular podcast. I had suggested to PJ just as like a mini series to get like sort of listeners like knew who we were and like, knew the stories we were talking about, and then it kind of just like became a podcast and it became really really big. Yeah, it's awesome. Really awesome. Well, and I like learning about the history of places, so we do a lot of deep dives and we really focus on all of that before we say, oh, it's haunted or it's not haunted. But we've done a couple of things out of state or like really close to Pennsylvania, like in West Virginia or Ohio.
Yeah, like the Catskill Mountains.
But mostly we just stick to Pennsylvania because there is so much, as you said, like so much in PA. Like I think we've got fodder for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Every time we think we run out, we're like, we have more. Pittsburgh, you said?
My favorite. I said my favorite is Gettysburg.
Gettysburg.
Yeah. I love it there. I just really do.
Yeah, we did a 5-part series on that.
We did.
His sister, Laura, she's like the Rain Man of Gettysburg. It's scary. Like she knows everything. She proved that.
Absolutely.
Actually,
she had 5 episodes to prove it.
Yeah. She's like, let's do Antietam. No, Laura, you're cut off for a while.
Oh yeah, that's like, an awesome place.
We were always afraid, like, hey, just check your notes, make sure these are right. Laura, are these good before you yell at us on the podcast? Just check it for us. Yeah. Oh boy. So are there any like iconic stories that you have? Things like when you went to help somebody that you just won't forget?
Oh gosh. I wouldn't say I get, you know what, not on a case, but I guess I want to say the funniest thing that I've ever experienced when I ran my team, which I do not do anymore,
Hmm.
by the way. But when I ran the team, it was a educational team, but we had went over to the bunkers there.
Oh, we're planning
We're
on
doing
And
that
we're
for our
planning on going there soon.
anniversary.
Yeah.
okay, well, when you go over there, you will see that there is like a chain that goes across there on that. I want to say it's the first, it's like back in, and there's a chain. You kind of got to like walk into it.
Hmm.
But with that said, the I want to say what was it? Hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Bigfoot Society. That's what it's.
Yep.
Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society was called in over there. So here I am telling my people, hey, if you smell a wet dog, it may be Bigfoot. Take pictures out, that kind of
Take
thing. Well, we
pictures.
had a new girl who was on, and she was like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. So we're going around, and I'm like, telling history, that kind of stuff, and they're doing their little thing. And all of a sudden, I hear her scream. She takes off running, and that chain did not hold too well. It like she went through it.
Oh my gosh.
This chain. Look, she was so scared. She was out of there, and all the while, it was a deer
Of
that was in
course.
the. It was a deer that was in the cornfield, but that was really funny.
I love
I really,
that.
really
Aw.
died laughing. But I don't know the strangest things. I've seen a lot of stuff, you know. Like I said, I've wondered if I'm in a movie, but then I've seen people come off their feet,
Oh
with
wow.
nothing there. I've seen people be held down by something, that's
Hmm.
not there that I'm not necessarily seeing
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
hearing at the time. Um, yeah, I've seen a lot of strange things in my life and my own experiences. I can't deny them,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I'm out there trying to help people like me, like you, that
Hmm.
have experienced these things
Yeah.
and maybe try to help find that help, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, my gram, like I remember when I was younger, she was called into a lot of cases too because of her specialty. And one time she had my mom and me come along just because she needed a little more power, I guess.
Mhm.
But watching her work was actually it was phenomenal because she could just say, like, when you got close to a certain room, she's like, I don't think we should go in there. I can tell that something terrible has happened to you in this room, and there's a very dark energy. And I remember the lady that was there, and she's like, yeah, I don't really talk about it, but I don't like going to bed at night. And so when I was watching the Jodie story, it kind of reminded me of that in my childhood. And I just, it kind of like takes me back to my grandma and realizing just how much power she actually had and what she must have seen or felt on a daily basis. But somehow she had to ignore it and, live a normal life. But she
Right.
really did help that lady because my grandma said, like, she's like, I'm getting a sense too from this downstairs bathroom. I don't think that you like going in there. And she said, and I go in there like once a week to clean it, but I don't really use it because I just get a really weird sense in there. And sometimes I smell like
Mhm.
a smoke smell. And my grandma said, yeah, the person that you are dealing with, he died in there. And he died in there because of a
Right.
fire. And so he's angry over a couple things, but he was a servant and they like let him die pretty much. So like he doesn't realize that you're not the person he thinks that you're his previous owners or people like he worked for, I should say, not owners.
Right.
But so it was fascinating to watch her do what she did because everything she was saying, you could just see like the light kind of like brighten in the person's eye. Like, I'm not crazy. This person's seeing it too.
Yes.
And that's why I've always been
Yes.
interested in like the history because it's good to know what happened there previously because sometimes that helps you understand what's happening.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I talk about my friend coming literally in and staying in the house with me because I literally thought I was going crazy too.
Yeah.
Um, with different things. I was just like, oh my gosh, and you can't really run around and talk about these things. I mean, even some family members kind of thought we were crazy. And I'm like, no, like I'm seeing these things, like I know they're real. But, kind of when other people come in and they experience it, validates you.
Yeah, it's vindicating.
So, yeah, it makes you feel normal again. Like, no, I'm not crazy. This really is happening.
PJ always loves telling the story of our Halloween party here.
Yeah, because we had a Halloween party 2017.
Yeah,
right. It was a year before the exorcism, and our room gets trashed. Our bedroom got completely destroyed, and we had a house full of people who all witnessed it. So we felt so vindicated over it that
but
other people
left. We're like, no, stay, please, don't leave. We don't want to be alone.
My joke is everyone suddenly had somewhere to be.
It was fun food and fantasy like Canopus until.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but it does feel good, like when they see that happen. They're like, okay, maybe they're not crazy. There's something to it. But we suffered. I mean, I'm sure you heard about our house because we suffered for years. No one could help us,
Yeah, either they didn't believe or they had no idea what to do.
Yeah, I had heard briefly about your haunting and then somebody saying that you had to have an exorcism done on the house.
Yeah.
Probably Alicia.
Probably.
I don't think it was Alicia.
I wonder if she's friends with Tim.
This was a few years ago.
Oh, it's 3
Interesting.
Yeah, somebody. I don't even remember. It might have been somebody in the field.
It could have been two of some of our former students too, because we tell our stories to our students.
And that may have been.
Yeah.
That may have been right there.
Yeah.
So
I'm teaching a college class now. Right there. But I'm teaching a college class now in the high school, and so I have some of my seniors that I had in 8th grade, and they go, oh, "October's coming, Mrs. Hayden. Are you going to tell us your stories?" No, this is a leadership course for college. But it's October. Like they want to hear the stories again.
You can download them now.
No, we don't promote our podcast in school. That's illegal. But it's just like, I don't think I can take a day to tell about my stories when we have work to do. But it's October. So I just keep getting from them. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, one I had, our friend, my brother-in-law, he has a friend who is also psychic, and of some kind, like he has some abilities, but when he contacts the dead or whatever, like he said there are different ways that people can experience it, and for him they come as just like thoughts, almost like he's having the thought himself, like an intrusive kind of idea. Where some people hear voices, other people see things, that like get images and stuff. For him, it's like thoughts. What's it like for you when you receive these messages?
It's like playing a really fast TV, really fast, and I gotta decipher what the hell world I just saw.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
And then I do hear them, and when I hear them, it's usually onto my right side, and it's behind my ear. I don't get them in my ear. It's like coming from behind. I don't know how else to explain.
No, I just got chills. No, thank you.
From behind there. So, but yeah, that's how I get it comes through to me. If I ignore them and keep them, because a lot of times I keep my mind busy. So they can't do that to me.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm investigating or something like that. I try to push that psychic ordeal away. But they will come in speaking.
Oh
They'll
my
come
gosh.
in, with their voices. So, and a lot of times they're not happy about me being in the location, and they're relaying very foul messages to me. So
this is my spot. Please leave now.
Yeah. So, yeah, they tend to, I don't know.
So are you, like, because my grandma always described it as like being a beacon. She just couldn't turn it off. Is that kind of how it is for you too?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely can't turn it on. I can't turn it off. I mean, I can try to ignore it. That's the best way to describe it. And like I said, it keeping my mind busy or whatever. But they'll
Yeah.
come in other ways, you know.
Yeah.
They do. They'll push and push, and then all of a sudden I'll start hearing them, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you know. And then
Fine.
it's
What
like,
do you
stop
want?
saying my name. Just tell me what you want. Now stop
Mom,
this. You're driving me
mom,
nuts.
mom.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's almost like a whole mom thing.
Have
Like,
you ever
stop
like
it. Just say what you want.
just tell me? I'll pass the message on. Just go away. I'm trying to cook you.
So what if like you came to our house and which has been clean for 5 years now and all that? Would there be any residual energies that you could pick up on, or once and a place is empty, like is it?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we don't invite her to our house now.
I could probably feel the energy. I would probably take right to the energy of where things are happening or occurring. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've been in places where they blindfold me,
Oh yeah.
and I've told things that have happened, from things I was seeing or hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't bring her
yeah.
here because we don't want it to come back. She can stay via Zoom.
We don't want that to come back. Yeah, because you don't want it to come back. No.
I always say, no Ouija boards here.
No, I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't allow that stuff when we were living up there. I wouldn't allow it in the house. There at the beginning, I was like, oh, let's take this SP, radio and see what, it does. And yeah, I learned real quick to stop doing that.
Wow.
Just kind of ramped up the activity.
So are you against Ouija boards then? Because it's interesting. You hear people who are like totally for it, totally against it. It's just a board game from Hasbro or whatever, so it's just a joke. So you're against it? Now, do you have like a story as to why, or because we're against it too? Fun fact.
Yeah, we know.
Just like
I'm against it. I grew up with it, I guess. My grandmother on my mother's side had always took me as the oldest granddaughter, the youngest granddaughter, my oldest aunt and the youngest aunt, placing us on the board across from each other. And she would always ask the questions and things like that. Strange things would happen, like in front of us, drawers opening, cabinets slamming.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, the things moving. So yeah, we were quite young when, like I said, it started when we were young. My grandmother absolutely knew that we had abilities, obviously, because she never picked anybody else, So
Oh my gosh.
it was always us four.
I think we all have some kind of a gift somewhere, and it's just some of us are more attuned, like you are, very attuned. And so even if they're whispering in your ear, which I could not deal with, I could not deal with that. Just just be in front of my face, please. I want to see up here, not back here.
Right? Yeah. I just wish sometimes, like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, but it doesn't necessarily work like people think. It's like sometimes I could want to know something and they won't reply, like when you want them to, but reply when you really don't want them to. So it doesn't, they kind of do what they want, when it's coming through. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Everybody has their own gift, and how they perceive it. So.
And what you think you probably allow yourself to take in too, right? So yeah. Yeah,
you got to watch what type of energies be careful with that. Definitely. Yeah. That's why I said when I do trans, I really don't do that without another person in the room that knows how to handle that situation.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because that must be like a pretty strange, I would personally think like terrifying experience to do that. Is there like any specific cause where you'd be like, yeah, now's the time where I would use this skill, or like when would what would determine like when you would use that?
When I did use the skill, I will say it was with the Jody Hills case, and that's when I saying about the exorcism. I had let it trans into me to kind of trap it in so Bill could get rid of it out of the house.
Oh, okay.
So that's
But
kind of
Give it a
yeah.
place to get stuck in.
to go. Like, here you go, sucker. I'm the house, but you're
Yeah.
gonna get cast back out. So
Yeah.
Did that work or no?
they don't like it. They realize, what we're up to,
Mhm.
So and then we'll get mockeries, lots of mockery cases, It's crazy. I'll start to get cases and then Mel will get cases and then and then they'll be mocking each other, So it's like she lives in a whole different county.
Huh.
So it's crazy
Does
times.
Jody still live in that house or did they end up moving?
Huh?
Does
Oh
Jody?
no, they ended up moving and selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sold.
Did it follow her or did it stay at the house?
I honestly could not speak for her.
Okay.
So
I know.
that would be
I hope
that
it
she would.
didn't follow with her.
I know. Based on was her name Amy from the Dead Files?
Yeah.
She said like that thing just it was part of that land, So like,
Okay.
so I assume it stayed there.
Well, Jody, wherever you are, we hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
like I kind of said, the big kahuna, the big guy, kind of followed me home from that
Mhm.
case,
Yeah.
from her house.
Okay.
And it just kind of included into what was going on with up there. I had already had activity. It just ramped it up even more.
Yeah.
But
So what was the
but I
case in
don't
Mount
talk
Carmel?
about it within my book.
Yeah.
Huh?
What was the case in Mount Carmel?
That was a case that I had took on. It was a female with a child at the time. She lived in an apartment building. And the history up there kind of concludes as when they were working for Edison, I believe at the time, there was a massacre up through
Oh,
through
okay.
there.
Hmm.
So anyway, she was having problems. This thing would hold her down, sexually assault her. It even would give her a name that she'd call it by. I'm not going to give it the power and call it by
Yeah.
its name.
No.
Also, with the Jody Hills case, same thing was happened. Jody started calling this thing by its name, by the same name. And granted, when my investigators were going into the case, they don't get the lowdown on what is going on. So I get the skeptic views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Things done over the way it's supposed to. So we're not biased on cases and stuff. And I need that because me being who I am, I'm going to say, oh yeah, it's haunted. I don't think this is haunted, This could be happening or this, So I like that. I like to have everybody's, opinion on what's going on or what could be going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It kind of followed me, and to whether it went back to her, I honestly couldn't. I have not spoken to her about the case.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we didn't hear about it when we were working at our jobs up there.
Yeah.
I hope they're all okay. That makes.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so scary. So, do you ever see a spirit, or do you just hear them? You see them too?
No, I see them. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I do see them. I see them as you and me sometimes. And then sometimes I see them as you can see through them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have been touched as if it was a human.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. And that's the strangest thing. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I know you're not really there. And I felt that.
Yeah. That was something that bothered me when we just did the Amityville horror.
Mm-hmm.
And, Kathy Lutz, she mentions many times that she would just get hugged from something from behind. And, I just do not like that at all.
It's described as being very loving, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, very tender hug
don't.
from a feminine figure. And, no, don't like it.
Yeah, I don't care for them. I kind of, when I go out there, I put those boundaries out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the boundaries around me, the white light, my protection.
Yeah.
You know, and also I pray. So, to me, I believe that keeps me safe, you know, from harmful things. But like I said, I wouldn't tell people to just go out and, I mean, it can be fun, but be safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
If somebody says something bad there, I wouldn't go poking the bear too hard.
Yes, that's what we talk about too. Like, people are always trying to like do, you know, some kind of like crazy satanic ritual in places that are supposed to be haunted. Just stop.
Yeah.
I don't understand the need to do that.
Yeah, no. Oh, goodness. I've had, you know, and the other thing is disrespecting people and trespassing on their properties without permission. That's a huge thing, you know.
Yeah.
I discourage that with my book. The people I talk about in the book are actually deceased now. The house was sold since I've occupied it. So I don't know the new owners. I will say that. I have not met them yet. I'm sure eventually they're going to make themselves known. But however, you know, I honestly wonder sometimes, you know, if they're experiencing anything out there, or did it go away?
Yeah.
With, you know, the ending of my book. I can't reveal that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. So that's something I'm interested in knowing, you know, on, you know, how they're making out there.
Well, and do you wonder too, like, some people were just more attuned to it, and so, because our house, you know, like, PJ's parents owned this house before. We bought it from them, like, 2010, I think, a long time ago. But they lived here starting in 89.
89, yep.
And they said they never once had anything happen. Now, with that being said, while they were here, things were happening to PJ and to Laura. So things were happening, but it never happened to them. But I said, if it was taking your stuff and moving it, like it did for me, and when it started, you know, when I first started noticing it, it's only because I'm anal. Like, I know where I put things, and so when it's not there, I'm angry. But I said, like, you had a family here. You had 3 kids, and then you had Jen, who was married, and then so you had her husband, and you had her child, and then Laura got married. So you had a family, and plus,
always a house full of people.
Yeah. So if something went you probably just thought it was misplaced by the kids or by whatever. You probably didn't realize because there was just too many people in the house. But I wonder if it just never bothered them.
We were having that actually happening there at the beginning. There was pictures. The strangest thing was pictures out of the bedroom would end up in the garage on the floor.
Oh.
In the same spot. Every time I would move those pictures back and put it back on the mirror, they would be removed, and I'd find them downstairs. And I'm like, what? And I actually accused the people that were in the home, you know, but I didn't actually write about that part in the book, you know, of the removing of the pictures and stuff. But yeah, that was occurring there. So I totally get what you're talking about with moving items and things like that. I used to get frustrated. Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, I'm like, at least clean the house, you know?
Thank you. Exactly. If you can pick up my shoes, you can pick up a broom. Come on now.
Exactly. Come on now. That would be great.
I have a question for you about my sister. So they had moved into, this is like years ago, they move into their house. And within the first week of living in this house, a pot of hot tea has been made for them. And
they came home and there's a pot of hot tea.
The stove is cold, ice cold, but there is a pot of tea. They drank the tea. Would you do that? They poured a cup for whoever made
ghost.
it, and then they drank the tea.
Oh, yeah, no, I no.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is because we feel bad. Like poor Lauren, right? They bought one of the oldest houses here in Millville, and it's beautiful, but it was really like crazy
Are
haunted.
you in Millville? Is that
Oh
where
yeah,
you're
yeah,
at?
we're in Millville.
Oh, I had a case. Yeah, not me. Melissa Leeper had a case there, and then I joined in on in Millville. Yeah,
Oh,
Where
interesting.
was it? Laura's house.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was so many years ago. I really don't remember the house, but it was a strange case. It had to do with the paranormal, but it also had to do with aliens.
Oh,
So it
Ooh,
was like,
I've heard nothing about aliens in this area. Now I'm intrigued.
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was a little bit of a cross, but yeah, she had took on that case, and I was there for the initial
Consult or
yeah
Wow.
ordeal of it.
yeah.
So
Well, see, because our area there were a lot of like Indian skirmishes, and there was a
The
massacre.
Wyoming Valley Massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down in Benton, and you can like there's so much in the way of like haunted and just like residual energy of Native Americans who are upset because they were murdered there. So I'm not really surprised when we, have activity because it's a bloody ground, just rife with
Yeah.
sad pasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laura's house, they move in and there's already this mimic in the house copying their voices, and then it makes them tea. Like, you don't drink
and
that.
the past 3 couples who lived in that house all got divorces and things like
Within
that.
3
so,
years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever is there did not have
Right.
people together. So
Yeah.
it broke them up. Lauren and I beat that, though. They're still together.
Yeah.
But they had some rough patches, too, because of it. Because it made, like, there was just this oppressive feeling and this feeling that you hated your spouse for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
It just made that.
right.
So, well, anyway, I don't have any more questions. Oh,
Yeah.
so we know the book is coming out, you said in October?
October.
All
Yeah.
right.
You can't wait.
Who's our publisher?
Well, I'm gonna do self-publishing
Oh,
at
okay.
first
Alright.
because that way I can control it a little bit
For
on what's
sure.
going on with it.
Are you going to sell on
So-
Amazon or where are you selling from?
Amazon is going to be the main one, and then I'm going to, obviously have some on me,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I can sign them and they can order personally from me too.
So, what's the
Um,
title of the book?
It's called Haunted Freedom.
Ooh, Haunted
Freedom.
Freedom. Because of the it's cute. All right.
Freedom. Haunted Freedom.
I
Yeah.
love it. Haunted Freedom by Para-Sabrina. No. Well, if you can get covered, put Para-Sabrina on there. That's your note. I love it. Well, we're going to turn this into a podcast episode for the Well House Exorcism podcast. Just as a reminder to our listeners and to you, the Well House Exorcism is a subsidiary of Games Overboard, my husband's podcast.
Yep.
So we'll be posting it
Okay.
from Games Overboard. I'll also post like a little clip probably on Twitter just to link on there as well. But we were really excited to see it. And when I buy a copy, you're going to have to sign it, just so you know. It's a fact.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we'll bring you a t-shirt too, maybe a pin. We got some stuff.
Joking aside, you are welcome to the Halloween party if you want to come visit. Alicia will be there too.
Yes, but you
So-
you gotta turn off the Para-Sabrina and don't bring it in with you. We also have
No.
We have a car
We
magnet
have
for
car
you.
magnets for you. We have a
Awesome.
pin
Okay.
for you. And then you'll get a
Nice.
t-shirt. We'll ask about your t-shirt size later. So I'll just find you when I buy the book and I'll have you sign it and I'll give you all your gifts. So that's how it's going to work. It'll be like a little trade.
Awesome.
So listeners, look forward to getting a new novel out there on Amazon. We'll tell you where to buy it as soon as it is posted up on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And once I read it, look forward to my review, my
Yeah.
honest, excited review.
Awesome.
Yeah, once we hear that
Thank
it's
you for
out.
having me on, guys.
Oh yeah, we loved it. But yeah, once it's out, we'll post on Facebook that's out, and we will announce on whatever episode comes out that week. We'll make sure that we announce it on there too, so our listeners can pick it up.
And if you're interested in the Jody story that we've been discussing a little bit, The Devil's Bidding, we are going to do a deep dive into the Plum Creek Massacre and discuss her case in general.
Yeah.
So we'll
and if you want to watch it, it's on HBO right now.
The Dead Files. I'm not sure what season it is, but
2 or 3, I forget.
Yeah, just look at the devil's bidding. So my listeners, you'll get a little background on that too, so you know what we're talking about, because you're probably confused. You're like, oh, intrigued, but confused. So thank you so much, Para-Sabrina, for coming on and talking to us. We've really appreciated it.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys.
Yes, thank you so
Goodbye.
much.